Well, good people, we finally have some cool innovation in the mouse space, all thanks to Logitech's new Pro X2 Superstrike. It's based on the Superlight 2 shape, it's 61 grams, and it has their new HITS technology, which stands for Haptic Inductive Trigger System. So we have three main selling points with HITS. Number one is an adjustable actuation point, which is absolutely insane to think about on a mouse, especially because the travel distance is so little already, 0.6 millimeters, which is actually the same as it would be on a mechanical switch, but the sensitivity of each trigger is so fine-tuned that adjusting where you actually activate the switch on that travel distance is actually super cool. I said actually 1,000 times there, come on. Number two, because we have adjustable actuation point, we also have rapid trigger that complements the whole reduction in latency and way faster clicks. And because this is unlike your traditional mechanical switch, they've built in a motor to simulate when the actuation happens and when the reset happens as well, so that you always get that feedback, which is also adjustable. You have this flexibility between a very weak one versus a very strong one. And this latency reduction in switch activation is around 30 milliseconds because the switch travels less when you set the actuation to be at the top for that short click versus a traditional mechanical click. And this translates directly to reduction in latency across the board for all players that were participating in their testing, including non-pro gamers. So what Logitech is banking on to pull in casual players towards the Superstrike is that it's going to reduce the gap between the click latency for a professional player versus an amateur because of how quick the actuations happen. In my trip to their headquarters in Switzerland, really opened my eyes about like how much testing they actually do with professional gamers and non-professional gamers to kind of both massage the marketing behind it, but also actually deliver some meaningful information about why this stuff matters, and particularly having more CPM or clicks per minute in a total match. So like increasing the CPM of professional gamers by 6%, which to casual gamers that might not sound like a lot, but in a full match that might account to like over 1,000 clicks. And so that is kind of impressive, to be honest. And even doing a standard CPM test, I am way faster with the Superstrike versus my daily driver, the Viper SE. Also, the biggest advantage, aside from being able to set your actuation distance, is being able to enable rapid trigger, and that's a game changer. You would think that on the mouse switch, where travel distance is so little anyway, that wouldn't matter, but it does. You can literally spam the switch so much faster than you can with a mechanical switch without needing to reset or like lift your finger off the trigger fully. And it seems like lots of pro players had to readjust how they click with both the right and the left buttons to take advantage of the HIT system, but it's like such a quick learning curve. Even for non-professionals like me, I could immediately feel the difference. And even when I tried this mouse for the first time in Lausanne, I came in #1 in deathmatch after playing for 10 minutes. And aside from reducing click latency versus your traditional mechanical switch, I absolutely love how these sound. They're so silent. And now we cue those comments of, I wear gaming headphones, so who cares of how the switches sound? But I actually prefer a silent switch. That's just me. Mint strawberry, butter caramel, future dusk. All sounds like dessert, right? But these are all flavors of power. Because performance doesn't have to be black or white. This is the View 600, a full tower built for serious cooling, clean cable runs, and builds that deserve to be seen. You love the user experience and how it feels like someone's actually thought this through, and like, why didn't they do this sooner? This is full tower performance in designer flavor. The View 600 by Thermaltake, pick your flavor below. Now, since they have removed the mechanical component of the switch, everyone's going to be happy that their Logitech mouse is not going to be double clicking anymore, which hopefully that's going to be the case. But when I asked about the longevity of the new HIT system, they tell us the testing is still ongoing and is going to far exceed what they have seen in their previous mice. I really like that confidence, but I guess we're not really sure about the potential issues that you might encounter with the Superstrike in the long term. So definitely stay subscribed because I'll be doing like a year-plus video with this at some point down the line. You can customize both left and right clicks separately, so you can have a slightly heavier feedback and deeper right click, but a very sensitive and light left click. You can also completely disable the haptics, which is a very weird feeling. You can still actuate the switches, but you're not feeling any of the clicks or any of the vibration happening, which gives you like a dead mouse, or as some people have described it as like clicking on a marshmallow, which I wouldn't go that far. It's not that mushy. And they have actually inserted some foam pads underneath so that when you do bottom out with the plastic, you're not touching anything underneath. And I really like their visualization approach to actually seeing how far you're pressing down, when the switch should activate both on the left and right click. And that gives you like a little bit of that finger memory and training to start using this new hits technology, because it feels like a completely different mouse versus any other switch on the market. Like if you have used a MacBook trackpad and like you know how that vibration happens, that's basically what happens underneath your fingertips. And one really cool aspect about the vibration motor is that it's been tuned so well that even if you're a professional player, clicking this thing 12 times per second, each of the clicks is going to be well refined and clear. As in, it's not going to be this continuous vibration. Every single click and release is going to be its individual event. At 61 grams, this body is perfectly fine for me, but I know there's a whole massive community of gamers who are chasing that around 40-gram body, so definitely this is not it. But they've done some really cool weight optimizations by using different materials on their tiny screws on the interior, cutting out some sections of the PCB, making the bottom plate thinner, and also making the shell thinner as well, while still maintaining a very decent non-creaking structural body. So the 1 gram difference between the Superlight 2 and the new Superstrike, for example, that doesn't matter, but all the improvements in the switches, that's where things start to count. Design-wise, we don't have any funky colors with the Superstrike yet, but they've made sure to emphasize by contrasting the black triggers where all the technology is located anyway, so you kind of know which mouse you're looking at. The build quality on my copy is perfectly fine. No play on the triggers. I love the scroll wheel, both in the scroll steps and the middle click is amazing. The side buttons, I don't mind that there's a little bit of pre-travel. I find them to be very satisfactory to use, but the skates are weird because they feel kind of similar to the Superlight 2, but nowhere near as smooth as what I get with the Viper Mini and some stuff from Pulsar as well. So I think they kind of dropped the ball here. And also the little skate around the sensor on my copy is misaligned. It is definitely more front heavy and feels not as perfectly balanced like the Superlight 2. It is PowerPlay compatible with a dongle that can stash inside the body for convenience. And gaming wise, like if this shape is for you, I would say it's definitely a worthy upgrade over the original Superlight 2. And it's good that they're the same price too. I think Logitech did the right thing here, sticking to the same price and not giving us anything over $200. But it is objectively a better experience versus any of my traditional mechanical switches. I put the actuation point for my left trigger at number 2, just to avoid any accidental presses, as I'm still learning the sensitivity of the switches, and I find the shape very comfortable, and gaming with this thing has been absolutely phenomenal in terms of both tracking targets, but again, mainly figuring out how much do you need to press in order to have a click. The adjustment period was very quick, and now I don't have to pre-travel the switch in order to have that immediate actuation, because the actuation happens so fast as soon as I apply any pressure on here. And now I'm no longer hovering around my finger at the top and like slamming down, because I don't need to bottom out with the switch all the time. And you can train your finger not to bottom out and kind of maintain the constant actuation, especially because of rapid trigger, so you can really spam these things like you haven't been able to before. Luckily, battery life is not compromised. You're looking at 90 hours, and it will shorten depending on your feedback for the haptics. Of course, it can run at 8K Hertz polling in wireless mode and up to 1000 Hertz in wired operation. And I know we were all kind of skeptical about what Superstrike and these haptics would deliver, but I think that Logitech did a really good job here, both in terms of how this is implemented in G Hub, because everything is there, it's not bloated. And I've seen some comments about people saying G Hub is bloated. Like, I don't get that at all. And now it's just a matter of waiting for the competition to deliver something similar to Hits. But I guess we should all see. Let us know in the comments what you think of the new Superstrike from Logitech. I'll talk to you in the next video.